Have you ever felt that electric jolt when you sense something big brewing under the surface in Detroit? Could the Lions be on the verge of hitting the jackpot in free agency, unearthing that superstar edge rusher we've been dreaming about? Lions News Fan Report is your go-to source for all the insider buzz. And if you believe Brad Holmes is about to change the game for our defense, smash that like button and subscribe right now, because you won't want to miss a single update on this seismic rumor. Picture this. It's OTAs in Allen Park, pads are off but intensity is high, and whispers start swirling about a disgruntled superstar who might be itching to bolt from his current squad. What if the missing piece in Detroit's front seven just decided to pack his bags? Is our front office really gearing up to pounce on the NFL's sack king from last season? The hint drops that the Bengals' breakout defensive end, fresh off leading the entire league with 17.5 sacks and finishing second in Defensive Player of the Year voting, has been digging in his heels, skipping mandatory minicamp and sending a clear message that he wants out unless he lands a new deal. Now, imagine the scene. Aiden Hutchinson terrorizes quarterbacks on one side, and on the other, this veteran disruptor storms through offensive lines with the same ferocity he displayed when he terrorized every pocket he saw in Cincinnati. Could Detroit call Brad Holmes' bluff and offer just enough draft capital to pry him away? Sources whisper that Cincinnati is growing frustrated, worried that if they don't release him this offseason, they could lose him for nothing next year. What if Detroit dangled a mid-round pick, maybe a second-rounder in 2026, and lit a fire under the Bengals to make the trade? We know Holmes loves to wheel and deal, and the thought of pairing two of the league's most relentless pass rushers on the same defense is enough to send chills down any opponent's spine. Let's break down why this makes absolute sense for the Lions. Last year, our defense surged, but in key moments we lacked that second wave of pressure to truly suffocate opposing QBs. How many times did we watch quarterbacks step up, reset, and deliver strikes because they felt too little heat? With Hutchinson drawing double teams, the opportunity to unleash an elite edge artist right opposite him could be the spark that ignites this unit into an elite tier. And for the fans, imagine the roar at Ford Field when the team unveils its new weapon, the one who skipped his own camp just to force a move. Could this bold maneuver echo some of the greatest midseason lifts we've ever seen in franchise history? Think back to when we snagged that playmaker out of nowhere and watched him become a household name overnight. The parallels are uncanny, and the stakes couldn't be higher, but every blockbuster deal comes with its risks. Can this superstar stay healthy after playing 18 grueling games? Will he mesh with Dan Campbell's blue-collar ethos? Could the chemistry click immediately, or will it take time to gel in this new scheme? And yet, isn't that uncertainty part of the thrill? Fans are already lighting up forums, some convinced this is Holmes' masterstroke, others cautioning that a hefty price tag could backfire if the move doesn't pan out. What if Detroit holds him to performance-based bonuses to protect the cap, rewarding sacks and Pro Football Focus grades, ensuring he brings his A-game every snap? The chess match is on, and every piece matters. As the OTAs wind down and minicamp looms, all eyes in Lions country are glued to any hint of movement. Will we wake up tomorrow to a headline screaming, "Lions land 17.5 sack superstar"? Or will we be left speculating until training camp kicks off? One thing's for sure. When the phone finally rings and the call comes from Cincinnati, Detroit faithful will erupt, because this could mark the moment our defense transforms from intimidating to downright terrifying. Stay locked in, because the rest of this story, how the deal goes down, how it shakes up the locker room, and what it means for our Super Bowl hopes, is coming next. If you believe the Lions are finally ready to roar, hit that like button. And let's finish what we started. Imagine the roar that will echo through Ford Field when that final signature hits the dotted line and Brad Holmes officially adds a fearsome edge rusher to our arsenal. We've already laid out the what-ifs, the tantalizing possibility that a true game-changer, fresh off a 15-sack season, could be suiting up in Honolulu blue. Now let's dive into what this seismic shift would mean for Detroit's identity, and every fan who's waited years for this kind of splash. First, picture the transformation. Our defensive line, long criticized for soft edges, suddenly bristling with relentless hunt. Opposing quarterbacks who once surveyed our secondary like an open buffet would now feel genuine fear, forced to step up into the pass rush they've learned to exploit. Think back to those days of the Silver Rush, when Chris Spielman and Robert Porche roamed the trenches, disrupting backfields and setting the tone for a defense this city could be proud of. Could adding this modern warrior in front of Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch resurrect that same intimidation factor? If Holmes pulls this off, it won't just be another free agent signing. It would be a declaration that Detroit intends to dominate, on both sides of the ball. Statistically, the difference could be staggering. Last season, the Lions averaged just 2.3 sacks per game, ranking 19th in the NFL. Bring in a proven 15-sack artist, and suddenly that average could climb above 3, propelling us into the top 10 and allowing the rest of the defense to feast on hurried throws and broken plays. Envision Jalen Reeves-Maybin patrolling the second level, capitalizing on quarterbacks scrambling as our new pass rusher forces mistakes. Could this be the catalyst that turns a good but not great pass defense into a ranked defense nightmare? For opponents, but this isn't just about numbers. For fans, it's about redemption. We still remember the heartbreak of playoff losses, the near misses, and dashed hopes. Adding this exceptional athlete would inject a surge of confidence into the fan base. Season ticket holders chanting his name before he even takes the field. Social media igniting with highlights of his chase-down sacks and opposing offenses. Rewriting game plans just to avoid him. It would give every single one of us the permission to dare to dream bigger, to talk Super Bowl, not just wildcard berths. And let's not ignore the ripple effect through the division. Imagine the Minnesota Vikings, who leaned heavily on quick-release passing to neutralize edge rushers, suddenly having to second-guess their strategy. Picture the Chicago Bears doubling up on the other side, only to be exposed by our young developmental players thriving under this new pressure. Even the Packers, long content to test our inside linebackers, would have to keep eyes on a relentless speed rusher crashing their front 10. This move wouldn't just shift Detroit's power, it would upset the entire NFC North balance. History offers us a blueprint. Remember when the Rams grabbed Aaron Donald? Overnight, they transformed from a middling defense into perennial contenders, redefining the standard for interior pressure. If Holmes masterminds a parallel move on the edge, we could be staring at a similar trajectory, from hopeful upstarts to legitimate title challengers in the blink of an off-season. And, unlike some past gambles that fizzled, this is a player coming off the best season of his career. Not a fading veteran, but a proven difference-maker in his prime. So, here we stand, on the cusp of what could be the most electrifying chapter in recent Detroit Lions lore. Will Brad Holmes have the courage to pull the trigger, daring to bet big on a player who embodies everything we've craved: explosiveness, tenacity, championship pedigree? Will our defense finally earn the respect it deserves, imposing its will week in and week out? And most importantly, will the roar of our crowd reach deafening heights as this new hero storms the field? I don't know about you, but my heart's pounding just thinking about it. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. The question now isn't if it will happen, it's when. So strap in, Lions fans, because if this deal comes together, we're not just watching another season unfold. We're witnessing the birth of a defensive dynasty, and it all starts with that one signature. Let the speculation fuel your excitement, because the next chapter in Detroit's renaissance is about to be written. And trust me, you won't want to miss a single play.